What's good, y'all? Psych Perspectives, giofvcks. And in this video, I just want to talk about how, yes, you can acknowledge what has happened, what is happening, what has been done to you. You can acknowledge your pain, your hurt, you're being upset, mad. But as time goes on, you really have to make a conscious decision and effort to heal, so you are not bitter and angry and mad and just evil, because that shit builds up. And I'm saying this because, like, when I talk about my mom and granny a lot, with narcissistic abuse, toxic abuse, dysfunctional families, narcissistic women, narcissistic black women, narcissistic feminine folks. And I've been in therapy for over a year, and I'm really just now getting to that. And I can honestly say this: I am really just now getting to that point where I realize that it's time to truly forgive and let go, so you can truly heal. And it took me over a year to get that. I've been in therapy since May of 2019. It is July of 2020. So over a year and 2 months, 14 months, 60 weeks, just about. I'm just now realizing for myself that, hey, you gotta forgive, because you sitting up here holding, you angry. And when I'm saying you, I'm talking about myself, and this can potentially help others as well. But a lot of us, we be angry and bitter, don't even realize you bitter, but you bitter. And don't get me wrong, we have every right to feel the way we feel. I'm not saying that you can't feel this way, but what I've noticed for myself is I'm holding myself back from getting to true happiness. I'm holding myself back from, like, being free, because it's like holding in the bitterness and anger and resentment towards my mom for not being the mother that I wanted her to be and that I needed as a child. I mean, yes, that hurt to be pretty much abandoned, because, like, she would leave and be gone for 6-7 months at a time, over a year. She was in California, she was in Seattle, Washington, she was everywhere, and then my grandparents had to have custody of me because she was just not, at that time, well, she just was not responsible. But, like, again, I don't know all of her life. I don't know everything. I know little things here and there that she has told me, and, my mom, granny has expressed, and my uncle has expressed, but I don't know about the trauma and the abuse and the dysfunction that she had to go through, right? And I don't know about the trauma and the abuse and dysfunction that my grandmother, like, had to go through. Like, we all are products of our environment. Yes, we can take the initiative to heal, so we can break these generational curses, but at the same time, we're still products of our environment, right? So people only can do what they know, is really what I'm trying to get to. And if that's what you've been taught and shown, and everybody around you is doing the same thing or similar thing, you're going to think that that's the norm. You're not even going to realize how toxic, abusive, and dysfunctional that is until you wake up, or you have an experience where you get to go outside of your comfort zone and see that, you know what, other people don't do that. Other people don't act that way. So, I'm just now realizing that for myself now more than ever. And then realizing that I've held such hate and animosity towards my mom. Like, I love my mom to death, but then there's a lot of just, like, anger, hate, resentment, pain, where it's just like, I love you because you gave birth to me and you had me, and, like, we've had moments where we were, you know, where we were able to bond. Like my love of music comes from my mom. You know, my love for instruments and playing music and drawing and writing, all that comes from my mom. Like that whole creative side, you know. And then like my grandmother, same situation. She loves music. Everyone has, like my mom, uncle, we've all played instruments. That's just how we are as a family. Music was always something that was like a big deal with us. And like my grandmother, her sense of work, her work ethic, her dedication, her commitment to service, even though, like I said, toxic as hell, but I guess we're all toxic. I'm toxic, right? I'm toxic to somebody. I was toxic to some people. You feel me? So I also have to acknowledge my own shit, right? But just looking at that, like, you know, all of them created me. You know, all of them, you know, with genetics, hereditary, and then also just being around them and them taking bits and pieces to raise me and to instill in me. I am all of them and they are all of me, right? So I realize that now, right? That's why I be trying to tell people, and this is just me being 100, keeping it real, for real. This is me being serious, right? Just being truthful and transparent. Therapy and counseling is not linear. And what I mean by linear, you don't just keep going up. You know, sometimes you have setbacks. Sometimes you go backwards. Sometimes you're stagnant. You know, like I was healing, but after a while, it was kind of stagnant after a while. And I'm just now getting to the point, you know, a little over a year later, just now getting to the point where I'm realizing you have to forgive, and you can't be sitting up here constantly holding in hate and animosity and being resentful. Because, like, I know this is about to sound cliche as hell, but it is the truth. As long as you're sitting up here angry and resentful and bitter and holding on to grudges, you're allowing the people who have done you wrong to literally rent space in your head, in your mind, in your heart, in your soul, in your life, free of charge, rent free. Because, like, that's the thing. I'm still at 27 and a half, even though I'm slowly but surely getting there. I'm still sitting up here holding on to grudges against my mom for shit that took place 20 years ago when I was a kid. Okay? Like, I'm still holding on resent against my sperm donor for the same thing. I'm still mad at people who did shit to me 2 years ago. You know, it's just like, you really do have to learn to stop holding on to resentment. You really, really have to realize that you really have no control over what other people say and do. Yes, you can protect yourself to a certain extent. You can put up healthy boundaries. You know, you can pay attention to your tuition. And also you can learn to have healthy boundaries. I'm going to say that again, because when people keep doing you dirty, you have to realize this person isn't a good person, and move out the way so you don't keep getting burnt. But I say all this to say, you really do have to realize you don't control what everybody does. Hey, Sophia. Hi, Mercy. Don't. I'm telling you, these two. Mercy. I know Mercy's his bark is so distinguished. Y'all go and play. So, yeah, I don't have human kids. I have I have 3 dogs. A Pomeranian, an American Pit Bull Terrier, and an African Barbel. I like dogs. But like I was saying, you realize that you have to let go. You know, even though it's hurtful, but you have to have that breakthrough, because like I'm looking at my mom now. She has multiple sclerosis. She's had it for years now. It's been about 7 years at this point. Her birthday is this month. She turns 50 this month, and she's still my mom. You know, my grandmother is 75. She's still my grandmother. You know, and I just kind of looking back and realizing everything that they've accomplished and done, and then I'm still recognizing the sacrifices that they made. You know, and that's another thing that we don't think about. Yeah, people can be narcissistic. I'm narcissistic. You know, I have to also recognize my own toxic, narcissistic, you know, egocentric, self-centered, you know, selfish behaviors, right? Like, again, owning up to realizing you're not perfect either. So like we all have to learn how to take ownership and accountability and work on those toxic traits. But yeah, so I'm just saying, give people their flowers and roses while they're here. So I'm gonna go in here, check a couple of things out that I need to check out, and I'm gonna take my mom her plate, because we all grilled out yesterday. Take her food and plate, drop, and enjoy the rest of my day, because back to work Monday. And it's gonna be a 5-day week Monday. Ooh, that's the thing. We need 3-day weekends. We really do. Anyways, I'm out.